3 weeks into the breeding season is a kind of a milestone in the whole breeding cycle for the dairy farmer. At this stage, the Teagasc targets are that 90% of our dairy cows have received or been bred, and 100% of our maiden heifers have also been bred. Nationally, we know, however, that the figures for 3 weeks into the breeding season are roughly 71% of the cows and 78% of the heifers bred. This results long-term in a lower than optimum 6-week calving rate, which averages about 65% instead of the 90% we target, and is costing dairy farmers on average €200 per cow. What can you do now to address this issue 3 weeks into the breeding season? Well, the first thing to do is to look at the records and see how many cows and heifers have been bred. And the number that has been bred then should be divided into the total number on the farm, and we're targeting 90% of cows and 100% of heifers. If the figures fall short of this, what then can you do? Well, the first thing to do is to identify the cows and heifers that have not been bred. And those cows will fall into two categories. A cohort of cows that have been calved for long enough. By long enough I mean 40 days or more. And if they've not been bred, it's time perhaps to scan them, get an experienced scanner or vet in to look at them to see what's going on. Cows that are less than 30 days calved will need a little bit of time. And when you gather a group of them together, they can be synchronized if needs be. The type of synchronization protocols that are available are accessible through your Teagasc advisor or from your local vet. And they don't guarantee huge conception rates for first service. But the key thing is you're getting the cows cycling, and their conception rate, while their conception rate in the first service may not be great, you have them cycling. Within 21 days, they're back to normal conception rates. The third group of animals are the maiden heifers. Now, we're probably dealing after 3 weeks with relatively small numbers of them. If that's the case, I often say to people, if you only have a few, run them with the cows until they're bred. Because typically the rest of the heifers that have already been bred will be put with a stock bull on a separate section of the farm. So the heifers that have been unbred, best thing to do probably is give them a little bit of time, run them with the main cows, and that'll help you to pick them up when they actually do come bulling. If you want, there's a synchronization protocol there. It's an 8-day treatment. It's available from Teagasc or from your local vet, and it's fairly successful in getting heifers bulling that haven't yet started to breed. And finally, the other point I wanted to bring up was to remind you that now at this time, 3 weeks in, is a good time to reinvigorate our heat detection aids. So keep the tail paint topped up. If you're using scratch cards, make sure they're all fresh and working properly. And if they're not, it's time to make sure that the heat detection aids are refreshed halfway through the first 6 weeks of breeding season. And just a reminder then of our targets. After 3 weeks of breeding, we're aiming to achieve 90% of the cows bred and all the heifers. And if they're not, it's time to intervene and see what's going on with the rest of the herd.